Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Today we are looking at the latest team and injury news ahead of Game Week 6. This is in two parts. With part 1 yesterday, we looked at the fallout from the Champions League fixtures and Thursday's press conferences. But today we focus on what managers have been saying with just hours to go until the FPL deadline tonight. My name is Joe and today I'm once again joined by Neale. Neale, welcome. How are you?
Very good, Joe. Yeah, full of busy.
Yeah, very busy. Yeah, so busy. We've had to split this video into two parts. So I do urge people to go and have a look at the video or have a listen to the podcast version we did, looking at those Thursday's events with the team news and the lineups and Champions League, etc. But today it's the turn of the Friday press conferences. Let's start with Manchester United, who travel to West Ham. Firstly, what has Solskjaer been saying in reaction to Mason Greenwood's first senior goal, which he scored in Europe last night? So yeah, what's he been saying? I know he sits hovering on many fantasy managers' benches,
including mine. Yeah, he's someone I'm keeping hold of for now, just in case he gets a run in the team, because they're only like an injury or two away from him starting. So yeah, this has become a regular occurrence. Journalist asking Solskjaer about whether he's going to start. I mean, he did start last night. This was the Europa League match. Scored the only goal of the game, and obviously the questions were even more intense after that match about whether he would start this weekend. Now, Solskjaer is stressed that consistency is the key. This is one of his quotes from the embargoed section of the press conference, which was released today. And says that he likes to keep a settled team. However, he does say that it's hard to overlook players who are in form and scoring goals. And said specifically of Greenwood that if he keeps scoring goals and when he's on the pitch, he'll get more minutes in the Premier League and he'll get his first start soon. Now, he's only 17, so it's asking a lot, I think, for him to start away at West Ham. The sort of difference from last weekend and the weekend before is that United are still short in numbers, and I might as well just segue straight into the other United team news.
Yes.
Daniel James, who is been playing on both flanks this season, but latterly on the left in Anthony Martial's absence. Now he is a doubt. I think he's 50% on FPL because he hasn't trained in the last few days. Solskjaer says he's going to make a late call on him. Which is frustrating from a fantasy perspective because we're not going to get any more information probably before the deadline tonight. Keep an eye on MEN reports from the travelling squads and things like that. But it's on Sunday, which is problematic, I think. So if James is out, and we do know that Martial and Pogba are out, then that opens up another slot in the sort of 4 attacking positions that Man United have. Now I should say that they've also got Lingard back. So he was rested effectively on Thursday. He came on as a substitute, so he could slot in for James, and there'll be a bit of a reshuffle. But Greenwood's certainly one option for Solskjaer to consider. Probably up top with Rashford going on the left, but that's just my reading of it. But yeah, I think this is probably the closest he's been to starting so far this season, but it doesn't mean that he will. And I've got a nagging suspicion that he won't actually start on Sunday because he had 90 minutes on Thursday night. But there we are. Yeah, he's getting closer and closer.
Yeah,
every week.
It strikes me it could be a Juan Mata sort of game away to West Ham. Tricky, could call for experience.
Yeah, Matt has been playing in the number 10 anyway the past couple of weeks. So and he was rested again on Thursday, so you'd expect him to start.
Yes.
Pereira was rested as well. He's been playing on the right. So yeah, it's going to be a call that Solskjaer makes later on, and we probably, as I said, unless you play the Sky game, we're not going to hear anything more conclusive until probably Saturday now. So doesn't look great in terms of definitive news. If you're hoping for any.
So if you own Daniel James, start him because he's either going to play or he's not going to play. It's very unlikely he's going to get 5 or 10 minutes.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a fairly good reading of it.
But if you don't have him and are thinking of getting him, probably hold off a week. And that applies to another similarly priced midfielder we shall talk about later. Meanwhile, West Ham, what shape are they in when Manchester United visit?
Pretty good. I think they've got a slight doubt over Lanzini. This was a new injury that Pellegrini revealed this morning. I mean, he completed 90 minutes against Aston Villa on Monday, so there's no indication of it. But yeah, Pellegrini said he's only got a small problem, so didn't really elaborate on that. Not entirely sure what it is, but he's going to be again assessed before Sunday. So he's their only real new injury doubt. Although they do have Arthur Masuaku suspended, and Pellegrini pretty much confirmed that Cresswell's going to come in for him.
Okay, let's turn to Manchester City. Enticing home match against Watford. Any news from Pep about their lineup? Aguero rested midweek, I should say, and Sterling played almost every minute for club and country so far. But any news there? And also, how's the defence looking?
Yeah, well, we covered this slightly yesterday, didn't we? We were talking about the minutes played by Man City assets in Europe, so we're probably pointing in the direction there. But yeah, in terms of the defence, so we know Laporte and Stones are out. Laporte's going to be 6 months, something like that. Stone's out for about a month.
Yeah.
And Guardiola was asked about this afternoon, and he says we don't really have many other options other than Fernandinho and Otamendi, who played fairly well. And against Shakhtar, Fernandinho, incidentally, was on the left of that centre-back partnership with Otamendi on the right, which seemed to work. Otamendi looked a bit more comfortable there. But he did say today that they've got other options in the form of Rodri, who could play there, and two young players who I think we'll probably see more of in the EFL Cup, so Garcia and Harwood Bellis.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see them in the Premier League game, but it'll come in, for example, next week in the EFL Cup. But yeah, I would suggest it's going to be Fernandinho and Otamendi for the best part of the next month at centre-back. And in terms of the rest of his team, obviously we're in the dark about that. He says he's going to assess how the squad are today, because obviously they had a day off after the Shakhtar game.
Yeah.
Hasn't reported any fresh injury concerns, although he's not at liberty to divulge that information if he doesn't want to. And if you're looking for any clues, there wasn't any really. I mean, he bigged up Gabriel Jesus and Mahrez, but he does that about every one of his players, regardless of whether they're in and out of the side. So
we spoke about it yesterday.
We did.
Look at that video, but also about Sterling as well. We said the amount of minutes he's played, but at the same time, it's highly unlikely he's going to be rested in the cup. It's highly unlikely that he'll be rested against Watford. But we're playing pet roulette here. We don't fully know. We have to make educated guesses all the time. As an Otamendi owner, I like what you're saying about Otamendi starting. Yeah. I also like his his goal threat stats as well. I know you've bigged up Tarkowski at Burnley for being a goal threat at set pieces, but Otamendi could be that one. We have seen him do that a couple of seasons ago. Fingers crossed he can do it again. Fingers crossed. Let's move over to Chelsea. Chelsea against Liverpool. It's a tough match to call. Both defences awful, or rather not keeping clean sheets. But Chelsea have injury concerns as well, particularly with Mason Mount. What's the news there?
Yeah, this is the big one really, and probably apart from Daniel James. So Lampard's just been speaking in the last hour. He says Mount's got a chance. They're going to try and get him moving today, which I assume means on the training ground. But he's going to make a late call on it. So not the concrete yes or no that we were hoping for from Lampard. But the good thing is that it sounds like it's going to be game week 6, and then he'll be fine. So regardless of whether or not he plays or doesn't this weekend, then it sounds like he'll be back for the games to come. So if you've got him and you've got value tied up with him, which we discussed yesterday, then you probably keep, I would suggest, given the fixtures coming up. But unfortunately, we don't know for certain about his involvement this Sunday. Lampard did say that he's got this great attitude and he wants to play in a game of this magnitude. They're going to give him every opportunity of doing so, but that's as much as we got from Lampard, unfortunately. So, he'll be yellow flag going into that clash with Liverpool on Sunday.
I've got to say, it's from when we saw him going off the pitch. It's got better in terms of he's at the moment, don't buy, but don't sell. And then as we're looking ahead to game week 7, he could end up being a must own, really, looking at Chelsea's fixtures coming up and Mason Mount's importance to the rest of the team. Liverpool, I'm not sure if there's any news from Liverpool going into this. Yeah, has Klopp been speaking before this clash as well?
He has, yeah, and as you say, nothing much to report. And Alisson's going to be out for a little while. Keita's back in full training, but he's not going to affect any of the assets that most of us own. He's a central midfielder, and that's pretty much it. Origi is highly unlikely to play, so less of a threat for the front three. But I would very much stake a lot of money on them playing against Chelsea this weekend. I should just say on the Chelsea front as well, Kante is back in training. But Lampard says that he's still not 100% sure on his match fitness. So he's going to, again, make a late call, as he is with Mount. There was no mention of Emerson in the press conference, again, but he was spotted in training this week. So he looks the closest, I would suggest, of the many flagged Chelsea assets at the moment. Rudiger, again, no word on him. He had a scan on a groin injury, so we're not entirely sure if that's medium term or if he's back in the reckoning. But yeah, we've seen Emerson on the training pitch this week, so he could return.
Okay, let's stay in the same kind of area with Liverpool, with Everton. Can they bounce back at home to Sheffield United? Yet to lose at home, yet to win away. What has Silva had to say ahead of this clash?
Just confirming that the injury situation is pretty much the same as last week. So Gomez is out again. He's got this rib problem, and they're going to monitor him on a day-by-day basis, but he won't play against Sheffield United, and Gabamian as well, who's out. For a longer period. But he was just sort of asked about the contrast in home and away form. The good thing for owners of the likes of Luca Digne, Coleman, is that Everton are much better on their own patch. So you hope that this is a good clean sheet opportunity as any, because Sheffield United, I think they're bottom for shots on target this season. So looking positive on the clean sheet for you'd think this weekend, although they have shipped a lot of goals in the last few weeks.
Okay, so we've heard from some of the big players there: Klopp, Pep, Lampard, and Solskjaer as well. But can we round up, I suppose, the best of today's press conferences? Really, I know there's been some others: Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Watford. If they can ever break their embargo of the desperate news we're all after about Decore and what he's had for lunch or whatever it is they're embargoing. But just round up what we've got so far from today's press conferences.
No problem. So Villa, again, just going through A to Z here in no order of importance by any way. Target is back in contention. He hasn't really played this season, so not really much to worry about there. If you're a Neale Taylor owner, is there any of them out there?
Yeah.
James Chester and Jonathan Kodjia are still a little way off. Bournemouth we heard yesterday. Brighton and Burnley we heard yesterday. Palace, Hodgson says that only Connor Wickham is his only absentee this weekend. So that means Kelly's back, MacArthur's back, Kouyaté is back as well. So Kelly is the 4 million budget defensive option in FPL, one of them anyway.
Well, James and Mount owners are definitely going to be interested in that if they've got Kelly sitting there.
Yeah, well, we thought this was the end of his run, didn't we? Because Sakho and Tompkins are both back as well. But in the game that Kelly missed last weekend against Spurs, they were absolutely humped 4-0 by Spurs. With Sakho looking very ropey at the back. Now, whether he'd take him straight out of the team after just one game, I don't know. And they have got Tompkins as well to call upon. So, we'll keep an eye on that in case Kelly miraculously comes back into the team. But obviously, longer term prospects are looking great. The Newcastle, as you say, the return of Andy Carroll.
Hooray!
For how long? I hear everyone shout. So he's back in contention. I expect to be on the bench, so given the length of time he's been out. Same with Saint Maximin as well. He's recovered from a hamstring problem. Longstaff still out. And I think that's it, apart from the longer term ones. Richie still sidelined. Norwich looking slightly more positive on their injury front. So they've got Moritz Leitner back, and Patrick Roberts is available. He was ineligible to play last weekend. Grant Handley's now fit to start, says Daniel Fark.
Okay.
He was only match fit enough for the bench last weekend. Whether he will start is another question, because Amadou played very well there at the centre back last weekend. But with every door that opens, another one closes. So they've lost backup goalkeeper Ralph Farman.
Okay.
Not a huge loss, but anyway, he's a latest.
What you say that? But these Norwich backup players are pretty good. Beat the champions of England. So yeah, I'm quite interested in Norwich backup players more than their actual first team, apart from Pookie.
Well, they had two backup goalkeepers on the bench last weekend, didn't they? McGovern and Farman, so they're obviously well stocked in that department. Yeah. I think we've covered most of those one now. West Ham we did. Yeah. Wolves won't have a press conference because they were in Europa League action last night. There was nothing really much to come out of that, but we did see Moutinho and Jota benched for that game against Braga. So we'd expect those two to come in, but probably more rotation beyond that. And I think the only one possibly remaining is Watford, who had theirs last night, or rather they had it yesterday afternoon, and it was embargoed till 5 p.m. Cathcart's still out, and Isaac's successor joined him along with Troy D, who's a longer one. But apart from that, I think they've got a clean bill of health.
It's amazing, isn't it, that they embargoed the news that Cathcart is still out, or whatever. Cathcart's fitness is somehow embargoable. Okay.
That's going to be my task this weekend, to find out why the hell they embargoed their press conference.
I do put a shout out. If anyone is involved with Watford's PR communications, their media team, please let us know tweet us, let us know in the comments section on the YouTube video. Why are you embargoing these? There must be a good reason, because the news that's coming out. But anyway, we've had some bigger news this week. We've had big news on some injuries there. Lots of don't buy, don't sells, particularly on Mount and James. It's still playing Pep Roulette. But good luck everyone else with the game week, and good luck to you, Neale. And I just want to finally, before we go, just do the usual plug for the members area on Fantasy Football Scout. Do have a look at the stats on there. We draw on them a lot for our analysis each week, and it's full of exclusive articles as well, and lots of great tools there. Comparison tool is one I frequently mention. Do have a look at that, especially if you're deciding between two players. But for now, Neale, thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.